Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of April 11th through the 17th of 2022. Alright, so this week we have, first of all, a very important yearly event. We have Jupiter, the planet of expansion, contacting the spiritual planet of Neptune. So Jupiter conjunct Neptune here around Tuesday. We've likely already been feeling this energy recently, these recent weeks or months, and certainly coming out of this a new beginning. And the new beginning is around what is important to us on a soul level, new beginnings, maybe even opportunities to do things that are more in alignment to our soul, that maybe give us more of that soul fulfillment, maybe even spirituality, more peace, more that inner fulfillment. So anything around this is great to set intentions with, and there could literally be some new things in our lives that do shape up to having more of that peace. It'll likely require letting things go, being more willing to go with the flow, and maybe even taking a leap of faith, but certainly new beginnings available. So with this, the early part of the week, we have some sign changes. Mars is going to go into Aquarius, so our drives are getting more into that progressive, challenging the status quo kind of energy. Mercury's going into Aries, fiery Aries, so our minds are going into more of the direct and assertive energies of things. And then towards the weekend, around Saturday, we do have a full moon. So it is the heightened phase of the lunar month. And as we approach that, of course, the energy will be getting to that higher phase, higher energy. With the full moon in Virgo is doing a status check with how we can still do what's important on a soul level. That is the sun in Pisces particularly. That is the theme this part of the year for this. But now in the sense of doing the work. What are some things that maybe we can shift with to have more maybe improvement orientation? Taking care of things, solving problems, fixing things, right? Improvement orientation, great to implement. That's going to be squaring up to Pluto, so there's some deeper energy to work with that. But the Sunday time period going into Monday, we also do have Mercury conjunct Uranus, maybe a bit of a spontaneous energy, maybe some different experiences could be great, and a slight sextile with those planets up to Venus, which could mean maybe a little bit of an opening for flow in the relating and enjoyments of life. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here's the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, April 11th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. You will notice a lot of the signs are different. For example, here is the full moon on Saturday, which is going to be right in the middle of Virgo, pretty much. But in mainstream, you might be hearing it being said that it's in Libra. So we are using the visible sky, the uneven constellations, and it does change the signs a lot from the mainstream version of astrology. So if you are new, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's go ahead and first just do kind of a bit of an overview here. As you can see, the main event really is this Jupiter conjunct Neptune, two outer planets, signifying, important new beginnings really for multi-decade kind of energy, big picture stuff, and certainly the aspect of the year. This is the only main aspect we have between two outer planets that really is symbolic for the year, and it really symbolizing that this part of the year, these surrounding months, March, April, really are the new beginnings of the yearly energies. So we'll talk more about that, but it is, of course, new beginnings around being in alignment to our soul and soul fulfillment. But that's certainly the concentration of energy there, and the early part of the week as well, particularly. The full moon will be in the later part around Saturday, which is the heightened energy of the cycle, and then just some aspects taking place very late Sunday into Monday, I was mentioning, with a bit of that maybe spontaneous or different energy with Uranus. So yeah, a quiet week when it comes to some of the fast movers. Not a whole lot of aspects, but certainly an important week with this conjunction and, of course, that full moon. So let's go ahead and break it down one day at a time here, starting first with Monday. On Monday, the moon will be shifting into expressive Leo, and we really have the moon just in two constellations this week. The first half of the week, the moon will be in Leo, which is all about self-expression, having fun, great to connect with our playful side, fun-loving side, expressive side. that is likely the theme around things that we love or find fun, and good to embody that. The second half from Thursday onwards, and of course the full moon, will be Virgo, which is Thursday through Sunday, the improvement-oriented side of things, right? So a bit of the early part being more fire, let's say, and the later part being more earth, just in the larger context. But Monday, yeah, getting into some of that self-expression, playfulness, all that, and of course getting closer to this Jupiter conjunct Neptune. So this conjunction, again, very important. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Neptune is the spiritual planet, or the soul planet, or the unconscious planet that rules the unconscious, right? And so a lot of this is getting expanded collectively. So collectively, we could be feeling, again, the expansion to Neptune things, which is the side of ourself that does want peace, does want to do these soul-fulfilling things, maybe is a bit idealistic, right? But also willing to take those leaps of faith, to go with the flow, to have uncertainty. This kind of energy is likely, relatively speaking, much easier to work with now that Jupiter, a benefic, is expanding a lot of what not always is an easy energy to work with, Neptune. Neptune, it's not easy for us to go with the flow and let go and take that leap of faith and all of this. These are, generally very challenging things to do. But Jupiter really helps us perhaps see or expand this so that it is more of that positive, or let's say more of the top-down perspective. We're not so caught up into the feelings and emotions of it. We're more being able to view it from a higher perspective. So anything around this is great. This has already been started, especially since the last new moon. So about a week and a half ago coming into this week, but 2 weeks from what will be the full moon. So recently here, basically the month of April, this has likely already been accentuated. And so it is about, yes, these new beginnings, these nice steps in the right direction, about taking a leap of faith, about cultivating new beginnings, whether they're in our personal life or professional life or whatever it might be, that is going to lead to more soul fulfillment. It is still working with uncertainty, but we're more willing to do that now. And maybe letting some things go, being more willing to let go in order to, be in alignment with that flow and do what really is deeply spiritually meaningful to us. So new beginnings with this. Also a great time of course, spirituality, anything creative or intuitive or imaginative, okay? And spiritual philosophies. Jupiter is the philosopher, Neptune is the spiritual planet. Anything adventurous involving spirituality, right? Jupiter is the adventurer, right? So this kind of a thing. But definitely the abstract mind is very much activated here. The imaginative, the spiritual, the unconscious, but also able to see it or be open-minded about it, which can, again, really support these new beginnings. So, so inherently neutral, but, with Jupiter leaning towards the easier side. But I think most importantly, it's how we work with it. I think those are great ways to work with this energy, especially, of course, with the sun in Pisces this time of the year. It's already, been and this week continuing to be important for that soul connection. Viewing life through the lens of what is soul meaningful, spiritually meaningful to us is very important at this time. Maybe even getting a bit of that rest or more receptive time as well. But again, we are entering the more heightened energy of the lunar month as we approach the weekend, so it is certainly building momentum. Now, around the Tuesday time as well, a minor aspect, the sun will be sextiling Saturn. Really nothing major here, but if there's anything productive or anything that will require patience or perseverance on your part, could certainly be available and a good energy to also work with. So as we continue with that Leo expressive energy through the rest of the week, as I said, around the Thursday time period, the moon will then shift into Virgo and really starting to get into that full moon energy of the fact that, Virgo balances Pisces. They're both needed. That in order to do it soul-fulfilling, in order to go with the flow and all this, we do have to be able and willing to take care of any responsibilities, take care of our physical lives, build good habits and good routines, do things that involve, solving problems, fixing things, right? All this nitty-gritty energy of Virgo, this analytical, improvement-oriented stuff is very much what grounds the imaginative and spiritual energies of Pisces, right? We can't healthfully find peace in life or healthfully, do what's soul-fulfilling without the physical work, right? Look at the monk, for example. Somebody's found healthy peace, healthy spirituality, but look at the amount of routines, habits, rituals, diets, all that it takes, to do that healthfully. So this is what we mean to say, combining the spiritual with the physical, the healthy ways of finding peace are needing the improvement-oriented energies of Virgo in life. So great to have that sort of perspective, let's say, with the full moon. I will, of course, make a separate video on that full moon, and also the fact that it is squaring Pluto. So there is maybe some deep things arising from this, but again, best for self-empowerment, facing fears, empowering ourselves to shift, regarding anything that does involve personal development. Really, Pisces and Virgo are about spiritual and physical development, personal development, and doing what's soul-fulfilling, but also taking care of things is the balance point. All right, so that's going to be the full moon on Saturday. Likely some shifts and changes with the lunar month, anything from 2 weeks ago, coming up to a bit of a perspective shift. Even the past 6 months as well, coming to a harvest and possible shift and pivot. And so a good time to do that, to pivot, shift directions, especially in the context of incorporating more of this development type of energy. All right, and then the weekends here, really with the later part of Sunday, which is Mercury going over Uranus, and those two planets sextiling Venus is basically what you're seeing here. And so Mercury over Uranus, Mercury is the planet of our mind and our communication and even our routines. And going over Uranus and Aries really spices things up there. So late Sunday into Monday, if there's anything you do want to change, maybe with your perspective, maybe with what you're learning or studying, maybe just thinking outside the box. It's a great way of working with it. Communicating a bit differently or doing social things a little differently, or just mixing up your routine, right? Inducing some change there. There's a new beginning here. It could be something fiery, something that requires some of that initiative with Aries, but nonetheless to get outside that comfort zone, mix things up a little bit mentally, communicatively / socially, as well as routinely with that. And the sextile to Venus is just an opening to that there might be a bit of opening to connect, maybe with relationships, or maybe to enjoy things, the sensual life or the natural life, nature, things like that. The enjoyments of life are sort of opening there with the sextiles to that conjunction. All right, so yeah, and that is the week in a nutshell. Most important thing is, I would say, certainly the yearly conjunction between right here, Neptune and Jupiter, right at the beginning of Pisces. And so this is a new beginning to that spiritual self, to the reconnection to our soul, and any new beginnings that come out of this, right? So great to set intentions with that type of stuff, and likely noticing new things unfolding if they haven't already regarding this letting go, and then it flows. This taking a leap of faith and seeing how things are serendipitously in alignment here. All, of course, with balance and reason. Jupiter does tend to expand things sometimes too much, so we want to make sure, of course, we're still grounded, and I think that's where the Virgo side of it comes in, making sure we're not getting too caught up in any ideals or fantasies or things like this, things that are too good to be true, but certainly grounding it in the work, in the habits, in the routines, in the physical world is fantastic. At the beginning of the week, we do have Mars entering Aquarius, so yeah, there is that shift into more of that progressive, challenging the status quo energy right at the beginning of the week. Mercury entering Aries as well on Tuesday at the beginning of the week. More of that fiery mind, fiery communication. There's definitely a lot of shifts coming into this week there towards what I think is more yang energy, right? These are yang signs. While it still is, of course, the yin Piscean time, of course. So while immersing into soul fulfillment, there's certainly a shift into more active yang energy coming into this week. And the first half is yang as well, with the self-expression, passion, things we love, themes around that, good to cultivate some of that energy. And then the second half, more of the earth, the refinement, the work, again, grounding that Piscean type of energy, while maybe late Sunday mixing some things up a little bit. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube, and extra content not normally released on YouTube as well. So do check that out. There's a link down below for that. But have a great week, everyone. Thank you again for all of your support, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.